Hey guys, today we'll be talking about formulas for triangles and quadrilaterals. Some of this stuff is familiar, some of it will be new. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. Up at the top it says, recall that a rectangle with base B and height h has an area of area equals base times height. Okay, so you've known that about rectangles for a long time. Base times height equals area. Well, the same is true for a parallelogram. Okay, so you can see that over here you have your rectangle, and we know base times height is our area. But on a parallelogram, it's pretty much like a rectangle, except there was a triangle that we slid or translated over here. So it's really just a rectangle with parts moved in different spots. So a parallelogram area equals base times height as well. Okay, so you can see in your little definition down here, the area of parallelogram with base B and height h is area equals base times height. Okay, so it says, let's go ahead and start the first example. It says, find the area of the parallelogram. And there's several things that you have to go ahead and do here. And the first thing that we need to do is identify what the height is and what the base is. Okay, so the base is fairly easy to identify on your parallelogram. Okay, your base is just this thing. And since we know opposite sides of parallelograms are congruent, we know that this is 11. And we also need to know what the height is, and that is this guy. Okay, but we don't quite know what that is yet. So we're going to have to use the Pythagorean theorem to find what that is. Okay, so since we know these two pieces, that enables us to find this piece. And we do that by using our a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug in what we know. We know that a squared is 30. We don't know what b squared is yet. And we know that c squared, or our hypotenuse, is this guy over here. If we take 30 squared, we get 900 plus b squared. And if we take 34 squared, we get 1156. Okay, so if I go ahead and subtract 900 on both sides, you get b squared equals 256. And finally, if we take the square root on both sides, our b equals 16. Okay, so you know that our height of this triangle is 16. So since we know the base and we know the height, our height is 16, our base is 11, you can go ahead and multiply those together, and we know that our area is 176 millimeters squared. Okay, those units at the end are very important. Okay, so that is our example number 1. Okay, let's go ahead and look at example number 3. We're going to mark through this guy. Okay, so in this unit, there are a lot of situations where you're going to have to plug in information, and example number 3 is one like that. So it says find the perimeter of the rectangle in which a equals 79.8 x squared minus 42. So in this unit, you're going to have some of them that aren't as concrete. You're going to have answers that aren't just one number. You're going to have to accept that. Okay, so to find the perimeter of this rectangle, we either need to find this height or that height. It doesn't matter. They're the same exact thing. We just basically need to find the height. Okay, so your area is the formula, area equals base times height, and we need to find height. We have the base and we have the area. We're going to go ahead and plug those in. Okay, so if we plug those things in, you'll have this thing, 79.8 x squared minus 42 equals your base times 21. Okay, so that's just after we've plugged in information that we already had. We need to solve for b So we're going to divide each piece by 21. And after that's taken care of, give you a second, we have 3.8x squared minus 2 equals b. Okay, so your base is now 3.8x squared minus 2. Okay, so now we need to find the perimeter. And how we find perimeter is we're going to take perimeter equals 2 times your base plus 2 times your height, and we just plug in that information. Okay, so we got perimeter equals 2 times what we just found for our base, which is 3.8x squared minus 2. And we're going to add that to 2 times our height, which was, or our base, which was 21. Okay, so let's go ahead and multiply all that stuff out. 2 times 3.8 gives us 7.6x squared. And then 2 times minus 2 gives us minus 4. And 2 times 21 gives us 42. And well, if we combine like terms, you get 7.6x squared plus 38, and that is your perimeter. Okay, so it's just basic math that you just have to plug in things, do some algebra, and you're done. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip to the next slide. Alright, the last example we're going to do today is example number 4. And it is find the base of the parallelogram in which your height is 56 yards and your area equals 28 yards. So once again, we're just going to be plugging in things into your formula, area equals base times height. We know your height and your area, so let's go ahead and plug that in. So we have 28 equals your base times your height, which is 56. Okay, let's go ahead and solve for your base. So we're going to divide each side by 56. So, of course, your base is going to be equal to 1/2. Okay, so this is what
time do you leave on a normal day?
Sorry for all of the bells there. Okay, but this is all we're going to cover today, and I'll see you next time.